Shelly Palmer, and you're watching Media 3.0. We just spent some quality time talking about high-definition television, or HDTV. That's Americans loving their television really, really big. 50-inch, 60-inch, gigantic TVs. But there's another thing about Americans that's kind of interesting. They also like their video really, really small. An inch and a quarter, 2 inches, just like you might see on your cell phone or your iPod. Mobile video comes in a lot of different formats. You can't just think about it on your cell phone. You have to think about it as just video you can take with you. So Lydia, did we go out and look a little bit at video? Do you have some research for me?
We do. What we're seeing really is we're seeing good mobile penetration in terms of handsets. If you want to talk about how you can watch video on a handset, there's certain clip services. Sprint's offering a service, Verizon's offering a service, iPod. Everybody talks about the video iPod. You can download movies, you can download music videos. There's a lot of content that's out there. Question is, who's paying for it?
Obviously, we have some research on the subject.
We absolutely do.
Let's have a look.
A quick trip to DataVision on Fifth Avenue in New York City tells an interesting story about portable video. There are several new devices that allow you to take your video with you. Cell phones, iPods. In fact, there are several old technologies, the granddaddies of portable media, like laptops and portable DVD players, that have taught an entire generation to expect some form of portable content. But today, with 194 million wireless subscribers, what we have is a sea of viewers armed with small screens that can display pictures and video, access the internet, and even place a call. But just because you can,
video on a cell phone's pretty cool. I do it all the time.
Doesn't mean you will.
I would have it, but I don't know how often I would use it.
And the question everyone is asking is, will consumers use their cell phones to watch video?
Primarily from Verizon, VCast. They're promoting it the most, and it's not moving that well.
It's anybody's call.
So I'm here today with Lydia and Joe Laszlo from Jupiter Research, the world's greatest research firm, and Jonathan Bokor from the ABC Television Network, and we're going to talk a lot about mobile video. Jonathan, one more time, why do I care about mobile video?
I don't know that you do. I think it's unclear what the content model is for this platform. I don't think that half an hour and hour-long television shows are really going to work on the mobile platform, because where are you going to consume that? Television didn't really make it until Uncle Milty came up with a new format. Before that, they were really just putting a television camera on a radio program, and that is not going to cut it.
See, I would totally disagree, because iTunes has blown you out of the water and proved that wrong, because otherwise, why would they have over 4 million downloads of people paying $1.99 to watch shows that they could have watched on broadcast?
No, because that's not because people...
Last season's Battlestar Galactica.
Because people are totally happy to try something new for a minute. Right? The first thing I did was run over and I downloaded a season's worth of Law & Order.
If that's true, by the end of this quarter, it should have gone down, but by the end of the second quarter, it went up.
I think you need to take into account another issue that hasn't come up, which is battery life on these devices. Watching video on these devices rips through the battery like nobody's business.
Yeah, they said that about laptops.
The battery technology does not improve in the same way that microchip does. So I think that you're looking at a serious issue in terms of, once people really realize, like, okay,
well, let's talk about this. Dedicated devices versus multifunction devices, because in portable, that's actually probably what's going to matter, right? The highest best use of my cell phone is actually to talk on my cell phone. And my second highest best use, and maybe the best use if I'm a teenager, is the text messaging. Some of these kids type with their thumbs rather than make a call, and truthfully you could argue that there's a better reason to make a quick text message. It's actually faster to make a text message. I'll be home in 10 minutes. Cool. Is actually faster, is less intrusive than to make the call. Yeah. But the idea of having a totally dedicated multifunction device, I think, might actually be the better question. Is there a place in the world for multifunction devices?
A phone is such a small device that if you're doing one thing with it, it's really hard to do anything else with it at the same time. And so again, I kind of think juggling two devices
lets you do two things at once. Right, but look at the difference between a BlackBerry and a Razor. I mean, I buy those for two different reasons. We've seen the increase, and even a couple of years ago,
one's a fashion accessory, one's a fashion accessory, and one's a business tool. So they're completely different animals.
I actually think the better comparison is cameras in phones, which have penetrated extremely deeply, and the fact is that nobody uses it. That is what the point that I'm making. You can put that technology in the phone,
I'm sorry,
and it may be pretty good, but that doesn't necessarily mean that people use it.
Who doesn't use it?
Well, 20 to 30% of U.S. consumers with cell phones use take and share photos.
Right, and in terms of technology adoption, as far as how quickly that technology was adopted and used, it's probably one of the biggest
It's
growth
not bad. It's
technologies
second
in the
after
US.
text messaging
Yeah.
right now.
So I'm going to push
But
back on that
I'll
one in a
push
big
back on
bad
you.
way.
You keep telling me how much you're willing to pay for it. How much?
I
do
don't
people,
pay
Well, I think
how much
no,
do
you
people
do. It's
pay?
like a quarter a shot, right?
I don't.
How many people do that?
To send a message.
I don't pay for it.
I don't
Send a
think
photo?
that, I'm saying that phones and cameras up till now are not a business. Now, video on cell phones and portable devices, people may use it. It's not clear to me how big a business it is.
Okay, so as we know, at Media 3.0, we have parlor tricks and paradigm shifts. Jonathan, mobile video on cell phones, parlor trick or paradigm shift?
Right now, definitely a parlor trick. It's got potential to make it into a paradigm shift, but it's going to be a while.
Paradigm shift.
How is that possible?
I've got 4 of the largest cable operators that's just partnered with one of the largest telecommunications operators. I have Steve Jobs, arguably the media mogul of the 21st century, playing in this space. Something's going to happen fast.
Yeah, but not video on your cell phones that matters. Joe?
We're just at the very beginning of it, but you can already tell it's going to be a paradigm shift.
Well, thank goodness I have the last word, because that's all I can say. Is it a parlor trick or a paradigm shift? Obviously, video on your cell phones in today's technology is a total and complete, absolute parlor trick. There's no other way to look at it. When will the paradigm shift? When battery life exceeds the useful life of your cell phone. When I can measure my battery life for my mobile device in days as opposed to hours, I might be willing to look at one of those fantastic 1.5 to 2.5 inch screens that just eats up battery life, as Jonathan described. Until then, I think we just have to say that if you want to have a little video on your phone, make sure you have an extra battery. I'm Shelly Palmer. We'll see you next time.